What's up, guys, and welcome back. I'm back here at Hyundai Genesis of Lakewood, Florida, because 2023 Genesis G70 just arrived at this dealership, and they were nice enough to allow me some time with this vehicle. So we're going to take you on the tour of it. We're going to check it out from the exterior, interior, engine, test drive the whole 9 yards to see if it is truly as good as they promote it to be competing against the German vehicles such as Mercedes-Benz and BMW. Guys, if you like watching videos like this, don't forget to subscribe, give me a like, and turn on that bell notification before we get back to this vehicle. The G70 was redesigned for 2022. There's really no visible changes from the exterior, at least from what I can see. And I tell you, I still love this vehicle. It's a very solid competitor for the Germans. Let's take a look at the styling of it. First of all, I like this Mallorca blue color. That's what they call it. Very nice, very popping for a sport vehicle. And as far as the hood, right, it's got this nice long hood. And it all starts here with this big Genesis logo that creates this indent inside of this vehicle, and it kind of spreads out towards the windshield in here. Very nice, very classy. Also, 2022, they redesigned the lights, so you still have those same fully LED double stacked lights right here. They're very nice, they're very visible, cool looking as well. As far as the grille, you do have this shiny grille right here, front camera right there, so that tells me it does have this 360 package. Also, you have this piece right here in the middle. That's where a lot of the sensing technology hides for all of the safety equipment that you can imagine on it. And then the bottom of it is kind of this matte gray, and it's wrapped nicely around with this Mallorca blue. So let's pop the hood, let's see what powers up this thing, because I do have the bigger engine in here. Super excited. Take a look at this engine right here. It is 3.3 liter V6 twin turbocharged engine producing 365 horsepower, 376 pound-feet of torque. No change from last year's. Still made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now this delivers the power to the rear wheels, and that can take this vehicle 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds. So now we're talking in the AMG C43 category, or M340i, very similar as far as the 0-60. Also, what I like is all those bracing right here. You can see this is for added sturdiness, the rigidity of this vehicle, and better handling and performance. And of course, you do have the hood struts, you do have the hood insulation, sound insulation right underneath here. Yes, if you're questioning that this vehicle is popular, just take a look around you. I bet you're going to see it today. If you pay attention to it, they are super popular. They're pretty cool looking. If you look at the side view of this vehicle, it does have the characteristic of a typical sports sedan. So it does have this nice long hood and this kind of short trunk with this little ducktail spoiler that you can see from there. We're going to take a closer look at it while in the back of this vehicle. What I want to point out the performance aspects of this vehicle. So you can see those red calipers that are peeking through. Those are Brembo brakes. They have it in front, they have it in the back as well. As far as the wheels, you have the 19-inch wheels. Those are the satin black wheels. A super nice design. You do have the Michelin Pilot Sport tires, and they're staggered tires. They're a little bit narrower in the front, the 235, and then they're 255 in the back. So again, the typical characteristics of a sports sedan with the rear wheel drive. What else do we have here? You can see this nice little vent right here. It's actually functional, but it looks like it's functional only at the very bottom of it. And the mirrors are fully loaded, like I call them. So they do have the turn signals. They do have the blind spot assist that are inside of it. And as far as the rest of it, of course, it does have the smart entry system. So the vehicle locks and unlocks without pushing any of the buttons. As long as you have a key on you, you're able to get it done. Speaking of the key, I'm going to show you that in just a second too. And I like how they did this kind of a smoked chrome surroundings of the windows. Of course, the pillars are all blacked out. Super nice look. Now, you probably don't see it from here, but it also does have this oversized sunroof that basically ends in here, and that creates that contrast between the color of the vehicle and the sunroof because it's all painted black all around here. Now, this is not the typical panoramic sunroof. That's a little bit bigger, I think, than the normal one. So let's move to the back and see what we have there. So if you like the front and the side, I'm sure you're gonna like the back too. That all comes together in the back here. So of course you have the same lights as we had last year. So those are the dual stacked, fully LED lights. I mean, they have everything. They have the turn signals, backup lights, everything else. Now they also have this mandatory reflector lights right at the bottom of here. It is a 3.3, which that's what the 3.3T indicates. Genesis spelled out right here, G70. And then the trunk itself, it's a pretty short trunk, but it does have this ducktail spoiler kind of built into it, makes it for a nicer design, also better aerodynamics of this vehicle. Now at the bottom here, what do we see? You can see the backup lights right here, but you also see this huge massive exhaust tips, and those are real. The exhaust is right there. So overall a very nice design vehicle. And then you have this diffuser right in here. You have the rear view camera, and then there's a button to open up the trunk, and it's all, of course, all automatic. Let's walk up on this trunk so you can see this is an automatic one. Two buttons, one to closes, and lock it basically. As far as the roominess right here, so you do have quite a bit of room for a sedan this size. And then right underneath here you have a temporary use tire, and the seats, they do fold down. It is a 60-40 split. There's really nothing else in this trunk to show you, but let's take a look at this interior. One thing I want to show you guys, it is not very easy to get into this vehicle right here. Now I'm 6 feet tall. I adjusted the front seat to my regular driving position, and here's where I am. So it is snug, right, to say the least. So I wouldn't be able to fit comfortably if I would be driving this car in front of me, right? If you know what I'm saying. So it definitely could use a little bit more room, but I know this is a compact, sporty sedan, and that's the class that we're looking at. So we're looking at the C300, which I think has a little bit more room in here. We're looking at the BMW 3 Series, which I think has a little bit more room in here. So this one definitely feels quite confined if I get inside of it. But I gotta tell you, the interior is super premium, and I want to show it to you. So let's check it out, guys. This being a fully loaded vehicle, it's got some features that you won't find on the base one, because it does have this advanced package and the sport prestige package. So let's take a look at this. I love this quilted leather inlays right here, and then leather wrapped armrest over here. I also like this aluminum trim around the door handle with the geometric shapes, and then you have another polished aluminum trim that runs here. Very little storage in the seat, and then you do have the speakers. They're not branded in the back here, but they are branded in the front. We're going to talk about it in just a second, but I want to show you the rest of this interior. So let's go inside and let's check out the seats. Now this is premium, right? I love the seats. I love this quilted leather. This is Napa leather, so this is what you pay thousands of dollars for in the premium brands. And this comes standard. Well, it does have those two packages, and they do cost thousands of dollars, but it's still, overall price is much less than the similarly equipped BMW of Mercedes. Let's check this out. What do we have in the middle here? So we do have some vents for the rear passengers, which is awesome. We do have some connectivity, which I didn't see on the new Mercedes-Benz. I was really surprised. And the nice feature here, if you want to move the seat in the front, all you have to do is press one of those buttons, so the passenger in the back can actually control the seats in the front. This is it. As always, let's check out the quality of the vehicle by shutting its door. Boom, nice and solid, very nice. Quality wise, same kind of setup as in the back, of course. So you do have, you know, this quilted inlay. You do have your window mirror lock controls. You also have two memory seat settings right next to the door handle. And then right here, I told you it's branded. It is a Lexicon stereo. So this is the premium stereo that Genesis is using. Now you do have a little bit of storage underneath here. And let's check out the rest of this interior. First of all, I want to show you, it does have the tilt and telescoping steering wheel. It is power, and it does have quite a nice wrench in here, and the left hand side of the steering wheel, it does have a few buttons. It does have a gas tank door, right? You have the hold for open up the trunk, and you can dim your instrument cluster. Seats itself, right, nicely profiled. It actually has the active bolsters, so you can actually control the bolsters, and they kind of tighten up when you put it in the Sport Plus mode, but we're going to check that out while driving. Love that quilted leather. I love that contrast tubing and the contrast stitching, so everything about it feels and looks very premium. Of course, you can't forget, of course, they are power seats. Guys, 2023 Genesis G70 interior. Look how cool it is. I love the design of it. I love the materials that are used. It really does feel premium. If you haven't looked at the Genesis in a while, definitely go to the dealership, check it out. Look at this. This is a soft plastic material. This is the leather wrapped dashboard right here. You do have the aluminum trim. Okay, you do have this 10.25 inch display right here. Steering wheel, super nice to the touch. You know, it's just the right size. It does have the Genesis logo. It does have several buttons on both of these. Mode and the star button are customizable, so you can set it up to a couple different features on the vehicle. And on this side, you can see what controls what's going on in the instrument cluster. And then you have the lane keep assist, you have the cruise control setting, adaptive cruise control settings, the whole 9 yards. Right behind here, you do have the gear shifters, so you are able to manually switch the gears if you'd like to. And then let's take a look at the instrument cluster. So this is a combination. This is kind of a combination between the digital and the analog. So you can see the analog is your speed right here. So your speedometer and your gas gauge, that's the analog part right here. Everything else is pretty much digital, even though the right hand side, the tachometer, looks like an analog, but it is all a display. And they did it so you can incorporate one of the coolest features that I think that Genesis and Hyundai have. Check this out. I turn on the turn signals to the right and it shows me the camera in the right mirror, so it shows me what's going on in my blind spot on this side. Turn it to the left and it does the same on the other side. One of the cool and safety feature. You also have the temperature display. It does say 82. I think it's a lot higher than that, so they might have to fix it. You do have a gear indicator, so we are in park. And then what else do we have as far as all of those pages in here? Right, so you can see oil temperature, tire pressure, attention level, accumulated info. All right, so you can have all of this and the front display. So there's some customization that's not as robust as Mercedes-Benz, let's say, but it does have enough information for the driver. So now this is the 10.25 inch display. All right, that's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. It's pretty big. And can you make this the whole screen? There you go. Yes, you can. And that's what's pet peeve with a lot of vehicles. They only use part of the display. So this is your navigation. That's nice and bright. It does have the same menu as you see on other Genesis models. It's kind of confined. It doesn't have this 14-inch screen. It does have 10.25, but it is enough. So you have the map, navigation menu, phone projection, voice memo, climate, valet mode, HD radio media, sounds of nature, of course, the most important features on any of the Hyundai. And that's how we test out this Lexicon stereo. It's probably going to be open air cafe. It would be a good one to check this out. Well, there you go. It gives you a lot of depth. It gives you like this stereo, more of a movie theater experience. So map we already seen, phone projection, right? Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are supported. Phone projection options enable the option to be used to connect a phone that supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay using an approved USB cable. I thought they changed it. I guess not. You still have to use it, use Android Auto. They have to connect through the cable, not wirelessly. Why are we doing that? All right, so what else we have? Connected services, notifications, users manual, and this is your basically home screen right here. So a lot of features that we've seen in other Genesis. Voice memo, I think it's one of my favorite features, because I always try to find a pen to write something down, especially if somebody calls me and says, hey, write down this phone number. I go like, oh, come on, I have to pull over. Media, radio, all of that stuff. We already seen that. So this is your instrument cluster, right? You also have, of course, have we looked at the climate control yet? Well, I pulled it up on the side, right? Because you can have it on the side, like if you're in the home screen and I start messing out with it, so you can see the display. But I want to actually show you the climate control from here, right? So this is your climate control menu. So you can see a nice animation, nice picture in here. By the way, this picture is also classy, kind of look Bentley-ish, right? And we already talked about it. A lot of Bentley people are work for Genesis right now, so that's probably why. But super nice quality, all right? And you can see where the air is coming out of. And climate settings. So activate upon washer fluid use, auto dehumidify, smart ventilation, defog, defrost, auto defog. All that stuff is set up automatically. Now you can see, you know, the fan speed. You can adjust it manually, you can adjust it on auto. If you hit that auto button right here, see it's gonna light up and it's gonna adjust the speed automatically. Now I don't want this fan to be too loud because then you can't hear what I'm saying. Okay, and so that's your climate control. And in case you didn't like using this part right here, then you can use the buttons right at the bottom. Before we get to that, let's take a look. This is where you start the vehicle. Here's your vents, of course, the hazard lights. They do have a power knob, and then you have some shortcuts: map, navigation, radio, media. This is your favorite button, or mode button. You can set it up. Let's see here. So you press this button and it tells you. Here's what it can do. So you can do phone projection, Genesis connected services, display on and off, HD radio data, or nothing like it does right now. And then you can hit the setup button, and then it goes to the main menu. So right at the bottom here, you do have your heated steering wheel, then you have your temperature knob. You can set this on auto. Then you have the heated ventilated seats, both for driver and passenger. Then you have the AC that's on, and if you want to turn on the front window defogger right here, and then the rear window defroster on the other side. Right underneath here, let's check it out. So we do have some connectivity options right here. First of all, this is your wireless charging tray, so that's where you put your phone to charge it wirelessly. But if you want to do it any other way, this is your USB, or this is your regular 12-volt power adapter right there. Now we have the shifter, nice sporty shifter. This is all aluminum and the same trim as on the side of the doors. And we have different drive modes in here, which we're going to go through in just a second. Cup holders, of course, but going back here, you do have your parking sensors, right, that you can turn on and off. And you have the traction control, auto hold, and then here is your parking camera. So here's your camera settings. Let's move up in here because that's kind of important. Nice quality. It connects, or it actually splits up the screen into 2/3 and 1/3. The 1/3 basically the top view of the vehicle on the 360, and then you have different angles from the camera, which you can also select on the left hand side, on the rear view, rear wide, sides, and then settings. You can change the different settings of the camera itself. Alright, so this is the front, this is the front, and this is the sides. And now if I put it in reverse, then it's going to take it to the reverse camera with the trajectory lines both in this screen and on this screen, which is important. It shows you where the front wheels are going to go. So like the camera system a lot. Alright, let's put it in park so we don't roll, and let's move back here. So drive modes, and then the next thing, you have the electronic parking and a little bit more storage with another USB port that's built in here. Okay, well, take a look at the sport, or the different drive modes that are available. So we're back in the screen here. So what do we have? So we have the Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and Custom. I gotta tell you, as soon as I put it in Sport Plus, the bolsters tightened up. Again, you can see the traction control was turned off. I didn't have to do it separately, so it adjusted this vehicle to a true sport mode. Okay, that's what it should be. It changes the mapping on the transmission. It adjusts the engine output a little bit. It also does have a stiffer suspension and a little bit stiffer feeling overall of this vehicle, so it can perform faster. But if you want to custom do your mode, that's where you can customize it too. So you can select whether you like the steering and comfort or suspension and all that stuff. And you do that through the setup. I think it's in the vehicle setup right here. Okay, drive mode. It's your custom drive mode. All right, and then you can have powertrain, steering, and suspension. So you can have different options. So you can have powertrain comfort and Eco Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and you can do the same for the steering and the suspension basically. So that's how you adjust it. You set it up. You don't have to ever touch it again, unless of course you want to change that later. So what else do we have here? Right on top of here, we have the regular mirror. You have the home link system for 3 different devices that you can open and program with it. And then you have your connected services for Genesis, and right here, sunglass holder. All right, and then you have some lights. Okay, LED lights, nice. Then you have the sunroof, regular sunroof. But I want to point out too here that this interior, the headliner, is all this suede headliner. Okay, again, this is premium on a lot of the BMW and Mercedes model. It's a lot of premium equipment. It looks great from the outside. It looks great from the inside. It's got some tons of interesting features. Well, let's take it for a spin. Hey guys, I'm ready to take it for a spin. Before we do that, let's check out a couple things. First of all, this is a 2023 model year. If you don't believe me, here's the screenshot of the sticker of this vehicle, 2023 G70 rear-wheel drive 3.3T. It seems like there's been some confusion. Some people say, hey, is this really 2023? It looks like 2022, and that's why, because they didn't really make too many changes on here. And as of right now, Genesis hasn't updated their website as far as pricing for 2023. So I can tell you of what this vehicle is. This is the 3.3 Sport Prestige, right? And its manufacturer suggested price before adding any of the options is $43,650. Now we have the Mallorca blue color, which is $575. Sport Advanced package $4,300. Sport Prestige package $4,400. Now you have the first aid kit for $45. Total MSRP including destination $55,000. So this is what this vehicle is. I'm going to post what each of those Sport and the Sport Prestige package include, so you can take a look at it. But I gotta tell you, this is a lot of premium stuff in here. And one thing that I didn't mention to you guys, it also does have this head-up display that you know, for some reason it doesn't turn on. Anyway, so the different trim levels that are available, obviously there's two different engine options on here. The first one is a 2.0 liter turbocharged engine, that 252 horsepower, right? Now we have this one, which is 365 horsepower. This is the 3.3. And as far as comparison, in the beginning of this video I said, hey, can it compete with the Mercedes and the BMW? Now you have to kind of distinguish of which one we're going against, because I've done recently a brand new, just redesigned 2022 Mercedes C300, and I really like this. Overall, it was a nice design, but as any of the Mercedes, it does have a lot of options that are not included, and once you start optioning that out, you can really price yourself out really high. Now that one had the 2.0 liter engine, 255 horsepower, and that would be basically competing with the 2.0, not the 3.3. So now that 2.0, this one starts at $44,650. The other one starts at about $6,000 less, give or take. So once you would add all those features, you would probably just under $50,000. That one that I reviewed was at about $56,000 as far as the Mercedes. So I mean, there's still a difference between the two vehicles. So as far as the performance, I think based on the engine specs, and we're going to drive it, so we're going to check it out if that really the paper conveys to the road, right? So if it's the same on the road as it does on paper, but it looks pretty good. It looks actually in the same range as the Mercedes-Benz C43 AMG or BMW M340. Those both have, well, that's C43 would be the previous generation C-Class, because that's new one is not out there, but that would basically be like the M340, which is 4.3 0 to 60. This one's about 4.5. Some people tested it at 4.4 on the 2022 model. So very close, very small differences. And it is a rear-wheel drive, so the should drive kind of similar. I do have it in the Sport Plus mode, and then I can feel the bolsters kind of fill in. When I do that, I'm going to take it for a quick spin. Before we take it on the road though, I want to do a quick 360 and see how the turning radius is on this vehicle. So the Sport Plus mode, definitely you can feel it in the bolsters. You can see the traction control off. The steering is a little bit tighter. Okay, as far as the turning radius, we have 1, 2, 3, basically 4 parking spots that it takes to flip this vehicle around, which is in line with everything else that we've tested in the same size category. And I'm gonna take it on the road really quick. So here's gonna be the first impression of this vehicle. It does sound a little bit, tiny little bit louder, but for a performance mode, I think I would probably like it a little bit more growl in here. That would definitely make a difference. But first of all, we're going to check it out if it does have some merging power, right? So we're not going to do like the 0 to 60, but I'm going to merge into traffic and see if we can do it effortlessly, as we should be able to. Consider the specs on it. Oh, this thing pulls. And you can feel, actually, it pushes you because it is a rear-wheel drive. So you can feel that this vehicle gives you the push from the back. You can feel that turbo engine is really nice, really responsive so far. And the comfort of the ride is awesome too. So it's not the stiffest ride. It holds you in place, but it's not overwhelming from what I'm saying. But it does have some guts to take over somebody if you need to, so there's no issue there. And it does have this nice rev matching. Did you hear that? It actually sounds so good. I gotta tell you, everything is laid out really nicely on this dashboard right here. Everything is within the reach. Even this display right here, being a touchscreen, I don't have to kind of lean forward and reach over. It's really easy. Everything is where it's supposed to be. So a great layout. It might not be as modern as the Mercedes-Benz with this huge screen. I don't know if I don't like this better. I think, you know, I love the MBUX system. Don't get me wrong. I still think it's a superior system to pretty much everything. But this one, it kind of feels good. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it. Which one would you prefer? It does have this kind of sepia colors on it, so it is very elegant. It's all great quality. The warranty, by the way, you know, we're going to talk about this warranty in just a second. And after, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop by here, right here. Okay, this is not very nice, but I'm going to stop here. We're stopping. Boom. 0 to 60. So I mean, it is pretty fast. It's nice, it's responsive. I'm going to put it in a different drive mode for a second there. Alright, it does have the lane keep assist, the active lane keep assist. You know, I got off the lane a little bit, it corrected me right away. Let's go in the comfort mode right here. Quiet it down just a bit. It's more civil. I like the sports mode better. Put it back in the sports mode. And then of course you have the eco mode. One thing we didn't talk about is the gas mileage. So it's 18 in the city, 27 in the expressway. It does have 21 combined. So I mean, you might say, hey, it's not the best gas mileage, but you know, you kind of have to compromise somewhere, whether you get the performance or the gas mileage, unless of course you get with the electric vehicles, and then you have some other issues that you're compromising, like the speed of charging versus filling it up, etc. So there's always pluses and minuses, pros and cons for everything that that does. I gotta tell you, this can definitely go against the Germans. This can go against the M340. This can go against the C43. There's no question about it. It looks good. It feels good. There's no sacrifices in quality. And we haven't talked about the warranty. 5 years, 60. That's basically the limited vehicle warranty. Powertrain, 10 years, 100,000 miles. So it is the best in its class. You know, that's Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis warranty. I mean, that's all the same. So that's awesome. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think about this vehicle. I love it. I hope you do too. I hope you like watching videos like this. If you haven't already, do me a favor, go to the bottom of your screen, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give me a like. It really helps me out a lot. It doesn't really cost you anything. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.